Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to G2 Gaming. I am the Gandy Man, and we are back with another top 5 video. This one's a little bit of a different flavor for you guys. It's not a top 5 favorite video games, it's not a top 10 favorite video games, it's not a top 5 tips, it's not a top 5 anything else. This is a top 5 video of something different, a different topic that I don't see talked about very often throughout the YouTubes. And this topic is my top 5 favorite video game developers. Now, if you followed my channel, you'd probably be able to guess at least some of my favorite developers, and maybe even where I rank them. But regardless, I haven't seen many top blank videos that talk about video game developers. The games get all the love, but the devs don't. It's kind of funny because the game developers are like the audio personnel on video productions, where if the production itself goes very smoothly, nobody bats an eye, but if something is out of whack, then everybody immediately blames the audio guy. It's like that with video games. If a video game is good, then the video game is good and nobody really cares. Or people will praise the video game, but the developer is an afterthought. But if the game is bad and is handled badly, the developer gets hammered. We're seeing this right now with BioWare and Mass Effect Andromeda. Everybody likes BioWare, everybody praised BioWare for Knights of the Old Republic and the Mass Effect games in the past and the Dragon Age games in the past. And then Mass Effect Andromeda comes out, and everybody's like, what the heck, BioWare? Get your stuff together, man. And so we see that there. Now, I'm not going to debate whether it's right or wrong to do that. I'm just pointing it out. But there has been some exceptions recently in the past, most notably with CD Projekt Red and The Witcher 3. But anyways, let's get started, shall we? So at number 5, we have a really good RPG developer, and one that we've already kind of talked about recently, and that is EA and BioWare. I include EA in it because it is the parent company and somewhat worth mentioning. I want to include it because there are games from EA that aren't from BioWare worth mentioning, such as the Battlefield franchise, Battlefront, Madden, and other future Star Wars games that are sure to be released. But also, BioWare has released one of, if not the best Star Wars games ever in the Knights of the Old Republic series. But BioWare also has Mass Effect and Dragon Age in its resume as well. And even though I have not played a Mass Effect game and didn't really care for Dragon Age Inquisition, I still can't deny the RPG elements. I may one day play Andromeda, but as of right now don't have plans to play it soon either. BioWare in particular does a really good job with all of its RPGs, but EA has BioWare, DICE, Visceral, and Sports that all deserve note. However, like another developer on my list, EA gets a lot of flack for repeating games and not really trying on sequels. They've also been accused, whether rightly so or wrongly, of attempting to buy out competition so they don't have to try harder. But overall, EA is still one of my favorites, especially now since I am drifting further away from sporting games. As of right now, the only sports games I play is NBA 2K annually and NHL and Madden every couple of years. So yeah, that is EA and BioWare at number 5. Up next at number 4, and this one will probably be a little bit controversial, but this developer is one of the best open world game developers of all time and the creator of probably the most well-known game of the past generation. And that is the creator of Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar. I know to many people, putting Rockstar below number 1 is blasphemous, especially when you find out who my first and second favorite devs are. But the reason why Rockstar is at number 4 and not higher is because I have only played Red Dead Redemption and GTA 5. Both were and are great games, but GTA 5 in particular was a little sketchy and a game that I thought was a little morally conflicting, even though that isn't much of an excuse. Both games pretty much give you free reign to do whatever you want, which is hard to come by, even in an open world game. But Red Dead Redemption is in my top 5 list of favorite games, and I'm so excited that Red Dead Redemption 2 has been announced for release for this year. Another praise for Rockstar, though, is that they put a lot of effort into each game that they produce, and it shows. The GTA 5 series is proof. But again, the lack of games that are interesting to me, and only playing 2 ever, I cannot put this thing higher than 4. Up next at number 3 is a developer that, as a PlayStation fan, I cannot overlook. This developer has some of the best storytelling in gaming, period. And that developer is Naughty Dog. The creators of Uncharted and The Last of Us. Need I say more? Nathan Drake, Joel, and Ellie are some of the best video game characters ever created. Each game is well thought out with an extraordinary story. And the fact that they can repeat their success is another aspect that makes them great. I loathe zombie games, but not even I could deny the greatness of The Last of Us, even though I've only played through it once. Not to mention, they got me waiting on the edge of my seat for The Last of Us 2. I did feel a bit of a hiccup from Uncharted 2 to Uncharted 3 because despite a different story and areas, it felt too much like the same game in Uncharted 2. But Uncharted 4 remedied everything and opened up the level design and looked amazing. And up until possibly Horizon Zero Dawn was the best looking PS4 game and console game to date. But anyways, there you have it. That is my number 3 spot on this list, Naughty Dog. So now we've come to my number 2 spot. And to be honest, it did take me a little while to decide who really is my favorite developer between 2 and 1. But in hindsight, it shouldn't have. The developer at number 2 is the developer that I have probably played the most from, especially recently. And that is Ubisoft. I have played all of the Assassin's Creed games, though I failed to complete Syndicate. I have played Watch Dogs 1 and 2, even though Watch Dogs 1 was underwhelming. The Division, and most recently For Honor and Ghost Recon Wildlands. Like EA, Ubisoft has received a lot of flack recently because the players claim that they reskin and reuse games, i.e. for Assassin's Creed games and Far Cry. They've developed and reused the same old open world formula, and so on. And probably the most recent, loudest complaint is the graphical downgrades. A cry that really began for Watch Dogs and has continued to this day. Yes, Ubisoft has lost a ton of fan loyalty, but no matter. I'll agree that Assassin's Creed got old, but AC didn't really reuse a lot until they got to the current generation. Yes, they began developing their open world formula with the original Assassin's Creed game, but built upon it and created a wonderful Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood game. There was enough added to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood to keep it from feeling too similar to Assassin's Creed 2. But once Revelation came out, it was apparent that it was pretty much the same game, only a reskin of Brotherhood. But enough changed between Revelation and 3 and between 3 and 4 to keep it going. But it was Assassin's Creed Unity that began the Assassin's Creed decline because Rogue was the better game that year. However, after Syndicate, I commend Ubisoft for taking a break to rework their plans for Assassin's Creed. However, they have had a similar problem with Far Cry, though it does appear that they are doing the same thing with Far Cry as they are with Assassin's Creed and rethinking and reworking the games. Their most recent games, The Division, Watch Dogs 2, and For Honor, and even Ghost Recon Wildlands, have all been extremely good despite mixed opinions. The Division was and is still fun to play with, and its DLC has kept it mostly up to date. Watch Dogs 2, though maybe not the upgrade Assassin's Creed 2 was from Assassin's Creed, was still exponentially better. And we have one of the most fun games in recent memory, For Honor. We also have Ghost Recon Wildlands. My slight issue is that I feel Ubisoft is making too many open world games and wouldn't mind something more linear from them at some point in time. Despite realizing their recent shortcomings with Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, they still are using their open world formula. It's still apparent in Ghost Recon Wildlands, though it's not as completely by the formula. But despite all that, Ubisoft is so high on this list because they consistently create games that appeal to me. I've been on record saying that I love open world games, and the fact that Ubisoft quite possibly is the world's leading source for open world games really forces me to always have them on my radar. But there you go. That is why Ubisoft is number 2. But the developer at number 1 is the developer of my favorite video game and video game series of all time, and arguably the developer of the best video game ever and best series ever, Square Enix. If you've followed my channel, you know Kingdom Hearts is my favorite series ever. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are my favorite games ever. Square is also the developer of Final Fantasy, their popular long-standing series that gave us iconic characters of Cloud, Sephiroth, and a ton of others. I mean, looking through my favorite games list, I can't deny the quality and uniqueness of many of their games, and none better than the genius crossover of Disney and Final Fantasy. They've also developed Hitman and Sleeping Dogs, among many other great games. However, the games I am most looking forward to are the Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I can finally play it, because I refuse to play the turn-based games that aren't Pokemon, and of course Kingdom Hearts 3. I really can't find much fault with Square Enix with many of their games. The only real issue is, like I've said before, their turn-based games. So there you have it, everybody, my top 5 game developers. Before ending, I do have 2 honorary mentions, which are 2K and CD Projekt Red. 2K mainly because I've seen their basketball games cut through what used to be steep competition in EA's NBA Live. Also, 2K has made one of the best football games ever in ESPN NFL 2K5 as well. And last year released one of my favorite games of 2016 and one of the best stories I've ever played in Mafia 3. And then we have CD Projekt Red, The Witcher 3. Again, need I say more? The Witcher 3 is the only game from them I have ever played, but the way they handled the entire release even after so many delays, with the free DLC and the incredible Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine expansions, there's no reason why CD Projekt Red should be overlooked for a list like this. Similarly to Rockstar, the reason why this developer is not on the actual list is because I have only played one game from CD Projekt Red. But after playing The Witcher 3, I'd be stupid to not look forward to Cyberpunk 2077. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this new take at a top 5 video with the top 5 favorite game developers of all time for me. All game devs deserve to be given a shout out because it takes years to make a cohesive game, whether it turns out good or bad. So if you like this video, give it a like and comment down below and let me know if you agree or disagree with any of the people on my list. And let me know what your favorite game developers are. I imagine I probably covered a few. I know I left out quite a few as well. Share this video if you think it's worth sharing, but as always, I thank you guys for watching. Have a good remainder of your day, night, or whatever time it is there. Adios and peace until next time.